in the street.
Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
We're back with that dog in the street intro. I'm back with my blue JJ McCarthy mechanic shirt on here. And Judd, you don't have the flag. You're not allowed to in the Vikings press box. But the Vikings are back in the win column for the first time in I don't know how many weeks. A long time. A very long time.
What was it, 4 games?
Well, they were.
They lost 4 in a row.
I think they lost 4 consecutive games before. They simplified things. And,
Well,
I mean, got to start somewhere.
We're gonna get into all of the things here from a blowout Vikings win 31 rip over the Washington Commanders. This is Vikings Vent Line, the people show here, the place to be on the Purple Daily YouTube channel after every single Vikings game. And it's oftentimes been a therapy session throughout this garbage season. Maybe it'll be something closer to a celebration or speculation about the future here. We're going to give our initial takes on the game. We got the sports dad at US Bank Stadium, our actual dad on the show, Declan, myself, Phil Mackey, and then we'll turn it over to you guys to offer up your takes, your thoughts, even your questions. If you'd like to get on the show, as always, send a request to VikingsVentLine@gmail.com. We'll try to get to as many people as possible over the next couple hours. So get to your point, get to your take, and then let's let other people chime in too. Keep it clean. Just don't get us fired. Judd, before we get into our main takeaways off this win, Quick Trip, main takeaway. Awesome place to go fuel up for yourself or your car.
Exactly right. You know, in football, we talk about both sides of the ball, right? We talk about 3 phases. Well, how about the 3 phases of Quick Trip? Because I've got one. Your offense is all of the delicious options that you have for a snack, for breakfast, for lunch. Your defense, well, that's the quality gasoline guarantee, folks, because when you stop in to fill up that tank, you know that you're going to get that. And then the third one, so the special teams, well, that's the pop. That's the coffee, the Karuba coffee. We're talking about a convenience store. It's really like a grocery store that covers all 3 phases. Where is it? I'll say it again. Quick Trip.
Also, North American Banking Company, shout out to them for powering and presenting Vikings Vent Line, and also write that down on a weekly basis. So, Judd, you're at the stadium. Why don't you give us your main takeaway off of this 31-0 victory?
Well, first of all, I think that what we can call this without becoming overly excited, because Washington, 1, is just terrible, and 2, didn't really show up, but we can call it baby steps. Like, this is, for J.J. McCarthy, this was a nice game. Now, I also liked the simplification did include more running the football, which I absolutely agreed with. But as far as J.J. goes, I mean, it's not saying much, but obviously the most impressive start and the most impressive performance of his so far very short starting career, 3 touchdown passes. You need to build on this now. And I guess what I'm curious is O'Connell going to start to so is he going to stay? I think he is probably like this for the last 4 games. And when you face a foe, let's say the Lions on Christmas Day, the Packers, how's this going to translate? Because, I mean, that Washington team simply did not show up. But I'm not holding that against McCarthy. I would call it baby steps. I'm not overly excited, but it certainly is superior to anything that we had seen from him so far.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to say to Rowdy Ninja 8 in the comment section, we see your comment that you have spammed 100 times. We will get to that angle. If you keep spamming it, we're gonna have to block you from the chat. So we'll get to the must lose game angle here in a little bit. But yeah, I think my main takeaway kind of twofold. Number one, I value developing a 22-year-old quarterback and or figuring out that position, period, more than I value the difference between like the 6th overall pick and the 12th overall pick. So while it is fun to do the tankathon thing and tongue-in-cheek call it a must-lose game or whatever, because you're going to have another one of these against the Giants, if within these 5 games you start to see some really positive signs for a 22-year-old quarterback that you drafted 10th overall, that is more important. Now, maybe in a perfect world, you find a way to show a bunch of improvement at the quarterback position and you have a great high draft pick, but those things might not blend together in that way. And I know that it's easy to just kind of glance over the box score and say, well, 163 yards, and everyone's all excited because he threw for 163 yards. It was the way it looked for 3 hours to me. I mean, first of all, he helped orchestrate a 19-play, 98-yard touchdown drive that took over 12 minutes time of possession. That is the longest time of possession drive of any team in the NFL in 4 years. And I believe they said the longest Vikings drive in like 25 years. And yes, the Commanders have the worst yards per play defense of any defense in the league. So take that with a grain of salt. But this is his 7th ever start. And some of you already wrote off his career at age 22, which I think is idiotic. Criticism, questions, poking, wondering why this hasn't clicked yet, all of those are valid conversations. But for those of you that wrote off his career as he's an unplayable quarterback in the NFL, well, today showed that's not the case. He's dropping back, and he's completing third and must pass, 12-yard, 13 yards, 9 yards. He's finding tight ends in the red zone for touchdowns. Was he throwing for 350 yards, carrying a team like Joe Burrow? No. But it's his 7th career start, and I'm looking for positive steps forward, and he showed a bunch of those today. He was mostly accurate. He, on must-pass third downs, and a fourth down wasn't really a must because you're up by 4 touchdowns at the time. He's finding T.J. Hawkinson, and he is showing you what he can do if given a runway here moving forward. So, also, this was my other takeaway before I throw it to Declan, who's loading the room with a bunch of Vikings fans. This was supposed to be the team formula as advertised 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Where your defense is forcing turnovers, getting out to some leads so that they can kind of do their Flores defense thing. And game flow-wise, you're not forced into these must-abort-the-run game situations. And I mean, hell, Kevin O'Connell will abort the run game if the game is tied in the third quarter, if given the chance. So game flow-wise, this is one of the rare times this season where you get out to a lead. The defense can pin its ears back, and they can do Flores things, and the offense can have a mix of run-pass. But when given the chance for that mix, lean, run, heavy. They ran the ball 34 times today, including a couple of J.J. McCarthy scrambles. So just this is kind of what we thought it was going to look like more often 3 months ago, and it just hasn't turned out that way. Dex, what was your main takeaway off today?
Yeah, it's tough because blowout win, that's great. You'll take those anytime you can get them, obviously. But I guess I'm having a tough time trying to weigh that. Okay, JJ looked better. They simplified things, but my main takeaway was, well, where was this all season? Like this felt like, and obviously you're not going to win every game 31-0 and have these like long sustained drives all the time. So like the formula today is not necessarily repeatable every week in the NFL, but it felt frustrating. So it was like, well, this seems pretty elementary. This seems like what should have been the entire thought process. And then if you wanted to build them up and you want to start taking the shots down the field and make them into the Kevin O'Connell prototype quarterback, okay, we can get there. But it's weird. It felt like, they basically, as someone who knows this well, they flunked out of like 400 level classes and then went back to 100 level, and they were like, yeah, this is where you should have been all along.
Yeah.
So it's great. I love the win, and I think JJ also, this is exactly why you don't give up on a guy. But like I'm very conflicted. I've never been really this conflicted. I feel like after a shutout win, I shouldn't feel like this after a 31-0 win.
I'll caution you. Like again, it's a baby step. The opponent was so disinterested and so bad. I'm not like if you bring this game plan out against the Packers, you're probably going to lose. Like that's the thing. I mean, Washington's impossible to judge. They look to me, including starting Jaden Daniels, who had no business playing, they look to me like they have organizationally decided to take the tank. So let's see this continue and the progress and things. And again, if you lose, that's fine. Does he show improvement? He took a baby step now, but we also have to see if O'Connell can contain himself. Like this was for as far as J.J. McCarthy's development, a step in the right direction. But I'm telling you, it was incremental. It's like when Sonny starts to walk, right? He ain't going to run across the kitchen floor. He's going to take a couple of steps, and you and Mom are going to start crying uncontrollably, which you should. But that's what today was. Today was like a few steps Let's see where it goes. And again, it's not even wins and losses to me. It's more about, are you showing incremental development? And then where are we going to go from there? Like, where's the coach? That's a very important thing.
But let me back up a step here. When you, I'm going to poke at something you said. When you say that if you bring this game plan into a game against the Packers, you're going to lose. Can you extrapolate on that? What do you mean by that?
Oh yeah, you did not use when the game was still within reach. You did not use your receivers enough. Like the tight ends incorporated was great. I mean, Justin Jefferson.
I'm fine with that.
Well, but here's the problem. So I spent the first half with the field glasses on Jefferson. He a lot of times was single covered, like he was open, like he was covered to a point where if that's a real game, you're going to have to complete throws there eventually. So again, it's just a baby step. It's a very small step.
But you can't. But I don't think we can sit here and criticize Kevin O'Connell's offensive
I'm
system
not.
for, hey, all I want to do is hunt down the field, deep outs, deep crossers, and find Justin Jefferson 30 yards down the field.
Right.
And crucify the head coach for that for 3 months.
I'm not crucifying him.
And then when they
Just don't get too excited. I'm dialing it back. I'm dialing it back.
No, you've been crucifying him for trying to hunt down the field with a young quarterback that's not capable.
Correct.
He comes in with a game plan today, and I have too, rightfully so. He comes in with a game plan today against a bad defense, granted, and says, you know what we're going to do today? We're going to pound the run. And they're like one of the top 10 rushing offenses in the league, yards per carry. They just don't do it that often. And we are going to leverage the threat of the run and the play action, and we're going to run heavier. We're going to run heavier personnel packages, including 13 personnel on the first drive with 3 tight ends. We're going to go heavy, run heavy, tight end heavy.
What I'm telling you,
I think that's more likely to beat a team like the Packers than the other way around.
What I'm telling you is you really need to be very careful with your excitement about what you saw.
Agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. Let's not get like this was a huge step. This is a very small step in what is going to be a process. So let's remain where we're not over our skis. That's all I'm saying.
The comments are hilarious right now. Every other comment is Judd
right.
is spot on, Phil is
Phil's
spot
right.
on, Phil L, Judd L.
We're just talking about the philosophy.
Yeah,
no, you're wrong, but you're wrong. I mean,
I like the game, but I do like the game plan. What I'm saying is, it's just all going to be incremental. That's all.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's also incredibly frustrating because this is what should have been the 13 personnel, the pounding the rock, the committing to the run game, the simple concepts. And yeah, like I would love for Justin Jefferson to have, some more catches today and more targets for sure, because the star players have to show up, and that's how your star players beat the other teams. But it is equally as frustrating to see this play out when this should have been the week 1 on game.
Very fair. Incredibly fair.
Last thought on this real quick, and then we can get to some listeners here. 5,000 people hanging out as the Vikings kind of cleanse their palates with a 31-0 win over the Commanders. They had third tight end Ben Sims played 19 snaps in this game, and it wasn't all garbage time for Ben Sims. He was out there.
First pass, dude.
Big Ben Sims.
He did a little 9-yard reception.
First pass. Yeah, it's a nice catch.
Yeah. He was out there as part of these, and I'll give you one more factoid, and this is like the stubbornness of Kevin O'Connell this year up until today. When the Vikings run their patented 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, this is what my offense is. It's 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. It is one of the 5 worst performing offensive formations of all teams in the NFL. Every single team's personnel groupings, 11, 12, 13, heavy, everything. 300 of them up and down. The Vikings running 11 personnel is one of the 5 worst offenses in the league this year. Hasn't always been the case. They've had great offenses at times. So for him to finally in the first week of December click and think, maybe we should run a little more J.J. McCarthy friendly, heavy personnel packages. I mean, C.J. Ham played 26 snaps today. You had between your 3 tight ends, those guys combined for like 90 snaps altogether. So credit, if I'm going to sit here and rip the hell out of Kevin O'Connell for the last month and a half for play calling, for being stubborn. And again, to Judd's point, it was the Commanders, so let's not go too far here. But some key adjustments were made to meet the quarterback where he is, and the results were favorable. So we'll see what happens in the last 4 games moving forward.
Yeah, Dallas because their defense is certainly not great. Dallas at Dallas next Sunday night to me though is going to be it's going to be intriguing to watch, right? Because like you get the Giants after that, and the Giants are going to be very careful not to win. So like the Dallas game I picked out for sure, the Lions game and Packers game. Those are the games where again you might lose. So I'm not saying I think that they can win those, but how does it look?
Amen.
I'm just interested.
Amen. Should we get to get some Vikings fans here? Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button if you're new here, and you can help us keep spreading the community here and the love by clicking the like button on this video as well. All right.
Actually, I want to start here with Drew, who flew all the way from the UK for his for this game. Drew, what's going on?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
What's going on, dude? In the stadium.
Yeah, so firstly, I've got a bone to pick with you guys. This is my fiance. She announced this surprise trip to me way back on the first game of the season. She wanted to do it live on the show, but you guys didn't respond, so you've got her to talk to with there. But,
Okay, sorry for
but
that.
lifelong Vikings
Don't
fan.
remember seeing that.
I came to the Metrodome back in the day. We've been to London this year. We've been to Dublin this year. I just want to say I'm going to do some points that are away from the game. Man, your stadium's awesome. We love this place. So much better than anything we have in soccer. Secondly, everyone we've met, this side of the pond, the other side of the pond, are so friendly. We've had offers to put us up for this week when we were at the games in London. Everyone was like, how can we help you out? So the fan base has just been phenomenal. As a lifelong Viking fan who only picked the team because my dad threw a jersey at me with a Randy Moss name on way back in the day, I just want to thank every Minnesotan I've met over the years. We're going to the Timberwolves tomorrow. We're here for the week. Can't wait to experience everything this city has to offer. We're going to Manny's Steakhouse. We're going to go get a Juicy Lucy. We're going to do everything proper. And that's mainly through listening to you guys and knowing what to do when we're in Minnesota. So thanks, guys.
Love it.
Thank you, Drew.
Awesome stuff, man.
Yeah, I feel
welcome,
bad.
Welcome to Minnesota. I did not.
Oh,
if
no,
we
I
would have
know.
seen that email,
100%.
we would have.
And
I know.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, I mean, cell phone here, but like when we do see an important one, it's very rare we miss that one. We very rarely we would miss something like that. So that is our bad. That is our bad. Judd, you're actually off the hook for this one. Don't worry about it. This is
Well,
a
I still feel
Declan
bad,
Phil.
though.
This is on a
part of the
pie
show.
chart.
I
This is a
still feel
Declan
bad.
Phil pie chart of blame.
I still can feel bad about it.
We'll own this one. We'll do some self-reflecting on our. Are we meticulously scanning every single
Simplify
email?
your email process.
simply-
That's what
yeah,
I'm asking
yeah.
you guys to do. Just simplify
The
it.
mechanics.
So
You know what?
you know what? I blame the over would it be voluminous amount of JJ
Yeah.
McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell hate emails that have flooded the inbox the last month. Makes us hard to see some of the other ones. All right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel?
Yeah, let's go to Mark next year. Hey, Mark, what's up, man?
Hey, boys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, what's up, Mark?
Okay, I want to tap the brakes. This is my J.J. McCarthy Fool's Gold game. That's what I'm calling it. 3 touchdowns, that's wonderful. But he did not crack 200 yards passing. Apart from the disastrous Ravens game, he has yet to crack 200 yards passing. And we as Vikings fans have seen this before from quarterbacks we drafted in the first round. Ponder against the Packers to win the division. There was a Teddy Bridgewater game in Chicago where we won, where Stephon Diggs was starting to emerge. And we as Vikings fans like, this is it. Our first-round quarterback's finally starting to develop, and Mackey completely understand and sympathize with your perspective. Hey, it's been 7 games. I get it. I fully acknowledge that point of view. But we need an NFL quarterback occasionally needs to throw 200 yards. Occasionally has to throw 300 yards. Heck, occasionally has to throw 400 yards and do 4 or 5 touchdowns when the defense doesn't show up. We have yet to see that from McCarthy. I want to believe. I'm a jaded, cynical Vikings fan that first-round quarterbacks in my lifetime, those are the 2 guys, and they didn't work out.
So Mark, would you have felt better today if he averaged 7.5 yards per throw? They only had him throw 23 times, partly because they were up by 3 touchdowns pretty early. You would have felt better if they swapped 5 or 6 runs for 5 additional passes and he got to 200 yards. Would you feel better about today's game?
1,000%. I think once
Okay.
once you're up by 3 scores, I wanted them throwing every play. I wanted to see he needs the reps. You guys keep saying he needs the reps. Today was a perfect opportunity. NFL game, NFL defense. I want to see the reps. He needs to. Now I get it. The Ravens game, he threw 40 plus times. It was a disaster. I love the run heavy to start, but once you have the game in the bag, put the guy back, have him drop back throwing passes. Jefferson disappearing again. We're paying him what, $30+ million, and he disappears again. How many catches does he have? He maybe had 2 or 3, maybe a little bit more. I didn't keep track. That's just something I would say. Again, I want to see him show up, but as Vikings fans, in my lifetime, 2 guys in the first round, Ponder, Bridgewater. I want to see McCarthy break that cycle, and as yet, we still have not to see it. And again, it's only 7 starts. I get it, but that's my perspective on this.
All right, Mark and Fargo, thanks for coming on, man.
The problem is this. Now I get Mark's point, okay? He's jaded. He should be. In fact, you know what? I was the guy at the start of the season that said I think that J.J. McCarthy is the it factor, and I think he's going to be just fine. And he was not. I'm jaded as well.
It's CPTSD, Christian Ponder.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, JJ gave us a reason to have that with him as well. But where I will disagree is I don't think if JJ McCarthy had thrown for 300 yards today, that doesn't change my opinion here yet. Like this is as bad as those first 6 starts were. Okay, now we've got to see it get reversed over time. Like it's not going to come in a game against a putrid Washington team. So if he had balled out today, 350 yards, 5 touchdowns or something, I'm not going to be sitting here saying, "Oh, okay, that's it now. That's him." Like this is why we need to see it against good teams. We need to see where he's going. We don't know, and we should all, including me, just admit we don't know.
Yeah, and the reality is that you probably need 25 to 30 games before you really know. And what sucks about the timing on this is we're just now getting to his 7th game, while other quarterbacks from his draft class are getting close to their 35th games. Like Caleb Williams is going to have 35 career games played minimum, including a playoff game that he's going to play in, and if they lose in the first round. And so they have a book on that guy. Okay, now we have a feel for it. You're still in the stages of collecting information on, but again, this was, as you're collecting information, there's been some weeks where, he took a step back. Oh, that was weird. He's like, okay, now we're talking mechanics. And then, of course, when the Vikings say this week, forget about mechanics. We'll talk about that in the offseason. Well, that bothers me from a development perspective. Why are you going week by week trying to figure out what your message is to the guy? So the whole thing has felt just off and muddled and not planned out. But all of that aside, you want to see him take steps forward, and this was a step forward. I do agree there are some better opponents on the schedule that you are going to get more information than maybe you did today against the Commanders. I don't think it's the whole process. If we're judging it off of 200 yards or 250 yards,
yeah, I agree with
well,
that.
that's how you start to overvalue a quarterback like Kirk Cousins for all those years, because he's hitting these benchmarks on the statistical side, but is he doing the things and making the throws needed in high leverage situations? Is he throwing past the sticks on 3rd and must pass, 4th and must pass? Or is he just padding stats with underneath routes in situations that aren't going to get your team the required result?
At the very least, in these last, 4 games now, after today, at the very least, what I just want is him to be put in position and to execute looking competent. He was competent. Like, that's what we saw. We didn't see, yes, 3 touchdowns is nice, but, there was nothing where I was like, oh, my God, this looks like a quarterback who should have been 1-1 in the draft, right? So I think it's very fair just to say this. Can you look competent against every team for the remainder of the season and not look like it's too big?
Yep. The other thing to think about, too, is, and we'll get to a bunch more Vikings fans here in a second, if you're out on McCarthy, or if this isn't enough, you need to see more, whatever it is, and if he doesn't hit if he doesn't throw for 300 yards by the end of the year, then you're out, you're whatever. You got to start weighing what you're seeing here in the next few weeks up against the options that are available this offseason. Okay, would you like to see a little bit more of a 22-year-old top 10 overall pick, or cut bait and jump onto a Mac Jones life raft that might make you feel a little bit better in the short term, but is it capping your upside? I'm open-minded. I'd like to see the next month of games before I start to have really strong opinions going into the offseason. But this game and this performance today moved me a step closer to, I don't want to trade a second-round pick for Mac Jones. I don't need to take on $30 million a year of Kyler Murray. If a quarterback can manage a game like this, hit completions past the sticks on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, and not turn the ball over. Those are the keys. Can you operate on 3rd down? Can you not turn the ball over? and can you play off of a run game, and can the head coach meet you halfway? And against a really bad defense, those boxes were all checked today. Let's see how it keeps going forward here. Who's next on Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Ryan next year. What's up, Ryan? You're on Vent Line.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, Ryan?
All right, so I'm happy at this win. It was a good win for the Vikings, but you know what? I'm pissed off, man. I'm pissed off. You know why I'm pissed off? I'm pissed off at all the J.J. McCarthy haters out there. All the haters, everyone talking smack. He don't got it. He's washed. Let's trade our quarterback. Let's get someone new in the building. Shut up, okay? Just shut up. That's all I got to say. What have we been saying for years as a Vikings fan? What have we been saying? Let's draft a quarterback. Let's draft a quarterback for the last 5-6 years. So what do? We draft J.J. McCarthy. Everyone's stoked about it. And then 6 games in, even earlier than that, we're giving up on him. We're talking smack. I'm reading comments in the YouTube videos and on Facebook. Have some patience, would you? Would you have a little patience for the guy? He's 22 years old. He's young. He's getting experience. He's developing. He's shown some flashes. That hasn't all been bad. I'm sick of the haters, okay? So when he starts figuring it out and he's a top 15 quarterback in the league next year, maybe 2 years, and you're one of these people that's talking all this smack, when he scores touchdowns and he's putting up points, I want you to sit there on your couch and be quiet. I don't want you leaving comments about JJ. I don't want you buying his jersey. Be quiet. He's going to be okay. Yes, it's one game. I'm not saying he's got it all figured out, but let's have patience. Give the kids some time. He's likable. He's a good locker room guy. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
Skol
Ryan,
Vikings.
Ryan, do you like hot sauce, Ryan?
I love hot sauce, man. I love it.
Well, then Declan's got a prize for you, man. For coming in hot, telling it like it is.
Ryan, we're gonna hook you up with some Crybaby Craig's, okay? So we're gonna send you the gourmet hot sauce, their honey hot sauce, the pow pow powder. You're all good, and then a hoodie. So email me back the same link I sent you, Ryan. Just email me back your address and your hoodie size, okay? And we're gonna hook you up with some hot sauce. And for anyone else too out there, Crybaby Craig's promo code PD10 for 10% off at crybabycraigs.com. Plus, you can find it at most grocery stores as well. Go get some hot sauce there. It's some awesome stuff. Ryan's going to be our Crybaby Craig's winner this week. Every week on Vent Line, we like to award our Crybaby Craig's winner, and Ryan's going to be hooked up with some hot sauce. Go to crybabycraigs.com. Use PD10 for 10% off.
Nice. Also, before we get back to some more reaction here from a Vikings 31-0 win over the Commanders, North American Banking Company, with 6 locations in the Twin Cities, is a Minnesota-based bank since 1998. And I can tell you from personal experience working with North American Banking Company, they value 2 main things. 1, cutting-edge online tools that value the safety and security of your accounts. And 2, personal relationships. Actual human beings that you can talk to with anything financially that you need, whether it's checking savings or maybe you're launching a new business or financing something big like a home or a car renovation, whatever it is. nabankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And Underdog is a fun place to watch football as a companion on, Dex.
That's right. Yeah, go download the Underdog app if you haven't already. Sign up with promo code SCORE. You play your first $5, get $75 in bonus entries as well. Our listeners have been winning all season long, riding higher and lower on so many different things. Passing yards, touchdowns, longest reception. There's plenty of different options Underdog, plus cross-sport entries too. You can do an NBA and NFL pick them in there. Go sign up. Promo code SCORE. Keep sending me those screenshots of your wins. I love to see it. Promo code SCORE at checkup. At sign-in, I should say, at Underdog.
One comment here, the Iceberg says, Mackey has gotten as bad as the Cousins Crusaders. In fairness, I do feel like there's a difference between a guy that has 100 career starts under his belt in his early 30s, kind of like being a fully formed, this is who he is, versus a guy that had 6, now 7 starts under his belt and taking a, I'd like to see more approach to watching him play football.
The only issue is, Ryan, come on, man. give this some time. Like, don't be assuring me that in like 2 years, like all of you people, when he's going to the Pro Bowl, like let's be very careful here. We've seen really bad. We saw better today, but let's all just be rational about this. Like, you don't have any idea. And Ryan, here's the problem. There's a chance they decide to replace him as the starter in like March. And so are you going to be mad at the Vikings then? Which, knock yourself out. But
Depends
the point
on who
is
they replace him with.
100%. But the point is, let's all accept what we have seen in totality and realize like this isn't a time to get excited. It's a time to sort of like make a check mark, move on. But let's not be saying JJ McCarthy sucks, and let's not be saying, well, he proved today and he's going to prove now. We don't know. Like, I am backing off big time because I didn't in training camp. And quite frankly, Sports Dad is embarrassed. He was embarrassed of his own performance in training. You talk about a guy that's got to work on his mechanics. This guy right here has to work on his watching quarterback mechanics.
Well, I mean, a lot of the good things you saw in training camp manifested today. It was like him accurate on some of these third and mediums, third and longs, these little missiles that he's threading into tight quarters, red zone success. You saw spurts of that in training camp. And he showed that today here. All right, Dex, back to Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Yeah, let's go to Kurt next. Kurt, what's up, man?
Hey, Kurt.
You're on Vent Line.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. The mood is kind of like, I just didn't think that it wasn't an impressive. Like, it was a good win, but it wasn't impressive. McCarthy was just okay, but it was a good step up. Two things. They should have got someone else. He's a 2 to 3 year learn guy. And I got two more things about injuries. Don't be shocked if Daniel Jones is back on the Vikings next year.
Nope.
He just tore his Achilles today.
Oh.
I mean, it's a realistic option next year because he's gone now, 10, 11 months? So
that's just a recovery.
So you're saying that they'll let him hit free agency. They're not going to franchise him, obviously, if he has a torn Achilles. The Vikings pick him up on rehab. Yeah, I mean, okay.
And so don't be shocked if Aaron Rodgers comes in, Kirko. I agree with you guys.
Tarkington comes back. Hey, Fran, what's up?
I think someone's coming in because I think McCarthy needs the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love sit behind someone. He's he's not a get it immediately guy. He's a learn. And so, the last thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go. Sorry. You go.
I was just going to go. Last thing. I'm kind of angry. That hit by Jay Ward was dirty AF. I don't understand why D-backs are always taking guys out at the knee. They're missing tackles. Guys, hit the center mass. Wrap your arms around guys. It's just like, I thought that was a dirty play by Jay Ward.
Yeah, Kurt, thank you for let's go the quarterback thing in a second here. The Jay Ward hit was very much like the Kirby Joseph, TJ Hawkinson hit from a couple years ago. It was he really dove gross. Right, and he probably ended Zach Ertz's career, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, not a great look.
Well, no, and so if I'm correct about this from the press box here, Jay Ward started. Isaiah Rodgers didn't start, but Isaiah Rodgers played. The defense played, according to PFF, 17 guys. And they also had Dwight McGlothern, Tavier Thomas, and Chaz Chambliss come on the field no fewer than a dozen times and never take a snap. Just come on. So
they were like trying to confuse the Commanders, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, they were still doing it like 31-0. I'm like, I think it's over. I don't think the Commanders care anymore.
Commitment to the shroud of confusion and secrecy.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. So Isaiah Rodgers, I don't know if I'd have to go back. Did he not play the entire first series?
He might not have played the first series, or he might have come in on a third down of that series. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
I think he came in, but it was odd. And then Jay Ward played a bunch of snaps at corner, and of course he's really a safety. So it was interesting.
Yeah, they had a lot of they ran more 3 cornerback defensive sets than usual today because Fabian Moreau also played like 20 snaps in this game. So it's probably the most cornerback action we saw. On the Daniel Jones front, I jumped in there before he could finish his point, but I didn't think he saw the Achilles injury. But he's saying because Daniel Jones likely tore his Achilles, it means he's more likely to hit free agency again because the Colts probably aren't re-signing him. I don't know what that would look like. Maybe it's a Kirk Cousins situation where you can put out some like social media videos to show how well you're progressing by March. But if the Vikings did sign Daniel Jones on like a 1-year, hey, why don't you come in here? It's quarterback rehab school for your Achilles and for your career, I guess. But he wouldn't be able to push McCarthy at all in the offseason program. And isn't the whole point of the exercise, if you're going to bring in someone, isn't the whole point that he like competes with JJ McCarthy in OTAs, mini camps, and training camp? Because Jones wouldn't be able to actually practice in full until probably the start of the season. And now you're into week by week preparation mode.
And that's just the recovery period. Like as we saw with Kirk and Daniel Jones, if we're going to, and I believe it's fair, one strike against McCarthy in fairness is he's hurt a ton. Daniel Jones is hurt a lot. So he's been hurt a lot, and Achilles scares me. Like if you're going to bring him here, to your point, Phil, it's not to compete. Like you might bring him back. I don't think that you probably would. But if we're talking about guys that could compete with McCarthy in training camp, which I think is going to happen, Daniel Jones is probably not, able to take a snap until like week 3 of the season next year. And then he's going to be rusty as hell and probably slow down because of the Achilles.
Yeah. It all depends on what you want. Do you want someone to compete and share reps throughout the offseason with McCarthy, which also takes away his ability to develop because that's however much percentage in terms of reps that he wouldn't be working with the first team offense and being the number one quarterback? Or do you bring someone in that just takes the job, period, and he slots in as a backup, basically Zach Wilson style?
And there's a fighting chance, just quickly, that the decision is largely made as well. Like, we don't know. Like, they might, I mean, if the Wolves say, we cannot do this next season, it doesn't mean that JJ's gone, but I mean, there very well might be, if there is a scale, 90% of we're going to go out and get a guy to challenge him and ultimately start. Who knows?
Yep. Aaron Rodgers, not related at all whatsoever, actually has been playing pretty well today. It looks like in the glimpses I've gotten of the Steelers-Ravens game, there's 47 seconds left. Ravens are driving. Steelers up 27-22. Rodgers, 284 yards passing in that game. And Adam Thielen apparently getting number 2 wide receiver snaps for Pittsburgh today. At least he was early in the game, but he's only been targeted one time. But he's been out there like a pretty high percentage of the snaps. But
got to request out. Got to get out of there.
Can't
Need
get
more targets.
Separation. Yeah. All right, who's next, Dex, on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Mark. Mark, what's going on?
Hi guys, Mark from South Dakota here. Always wanted to join Vent Line, and today's my first time today.
Nice.
Today I felt like it was a breath of fresh air, kind of. Like Phil said earlier, this is what the Vikings were supposed to be: have an elite defense, rely heavy on the run, to help out your young quarterback. Everyone says like, where has this all been all year? But this was only second time that the Vikings had a fully healthy O-line. This game was a step in the right direction for especially McCarthy. But I'm taking that with a grain of salt because it was the Commanders, and most of his passes today were first-read passes. One bad takeaway was Jordan Addison. I feel like he's been just terrible all season. The drops, just bad plays, I feel like, and the trade value this offseason might not be there. In my opinion, I think we should probably keep him, and Vikings might trade him. So I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys for allowing me to be on here. Love the show, and Skull Vikings.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mark.
Great stuff. Mark. There's a decision, and I'm just throwing it out there right now, okay? There's a decision to be made on Addison and Jalen Naylor, who I think has had a really nice season. Agreed. And that dude could have taken the doctor's advice in training camp and missed like 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go get a second opinion. I'm going to get a quick surgery. I'm going to play on opening night, okay? So full credit for that. But if you watch Naylor and his season, and then to the caller's point, Addison, I also can throw in here that as much as Jefferson was not used again today, that ball in the end zone, I think it was a 36-yard pass, that's a ball he has often caught. Yeah, like, it's a tough-ass play, but that was another, like, there have been, in that corner of the end zone, there have been 2 or 3 games this season where it's like, okay, I know you're not getting a ton of opportunities, but you ordinarily make circus catches there.
Yeah.
And he didn't. Just throwing it out there.
I agree. I agree. Well, Drew Brees on the broadcast defended it too. He said some people might consider that a 50-50 ball as a quarterback with that wide receiver. He said that's an 80-20 ball. You would expect him
Agreed.
to pull that down 80% of the time in that situation. And then, yeah, Addison was only charged with the one drop, and it was kind of later, like it was the game was in hand, but it was just once again just boom, rattles right off. It was a perfectly placed pass. I would even argue the one on the goal line, that was a great throw by McCarthy, the one right on the goal line, and the defender was kind of grabbing at Addison's arm, but he got both hands on the football.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's not going to go down as a drop, but it's just, dude, what? That's not a red mark on McCarthy in that spot. That was a really good pass. So even without that one qualifying as a drop, the other one did, according to PFF's measurement today. And Jordan Addison on the season, he has a 17% drop rate, which is among receivers with at least 50 targets, I believe the fourth worst drop rate in the NFL. And he missed 3 games as well. So this is just, it's been a pretty disastrous season for a guy that was in training camp, maybe chemistry-wise, J.J. McCarthy's favorite and best target. And he's been anything but helpful to McCarthy so far this year, and Brosmer last week. All right, let's keep the train rolling here. Vikings win 31-0. Some of us or you may have called this a must-lose game for tankathon purposes. The Vikings had other ideas today. Who's next?
Yeah, let's go to Bruce next year. Hey, Bruce.
Bruce, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, and there was a little bit of delay there too. We'll get back to you here in a second, Bruce. In the meantime, Eric, what's up, man?
How's it going, guys? I
Eric.
just want to say that we are witnessing the beginning of the return of 9, and a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people in the Vikings community owes not only J.J. McCarthy but our guy Thor an apology. This is what the Vikings play calling should have been, to Phil's point. But Phil, listen, I agree with a lot of what you've been saying, but I need you to give yourself a fine for not getting through a show without bringing up Aaron Rodgers again. It's not. We don't want it. We don't want Rodgers. Stop it.
Hey, listen, Eric, I'm sorry that you don't want Rodgers. I don't necessarily want Rodgers, but one of the most important people making that decision, I think, really wanted Rodgers, and he played well today, and he's a free agent. I'm just
I mean, I can't really argue with that KOC.
I'm
he has that
bracing you
relationship
for
with
it.
him. But no, in full disclosure, guys, listen, I am a JJ McCarthy fan. I am a Michigan fan and a Vikings fan. So I was on the Vent Line with Declan in the offseason. I'm very open about that. I'm a JJ guy. But this is what JJ is. He's the youngest starting quarterback in the league. You drafted him at 20 years old. He was 20 years old the night he got drafted. Look at the number of pass reps that he had compared to every other quarterback in that draft. Look at the number of pass reps he had in college compared to the quarterbacks from this last draft, from Max Brosmer. He needs game reps. He doesn't need bench time. When you draft a 20-year-old quarterback, you have to know that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. It's going to take time, and you've got to get him game reps. So I'm not with any of these these ideas or plans that would limit his game reps. I agree with Thor. When we come into next season, have it be JJ, have it be Brosmer if you want to bring in a veteran, but I want to ride with him through next season, let him start the whole season and see what we got by the end of next season, because that's the only way you're going to see what JJ really has. I don't think you can call it after what will it be by the end of the season? 11 games, 12 games, something like that. I don't think you can really say he has it or doesn't have it. And if we bring in someone else next year, the first time they have a bad game, it's going to be, well, what about JJ? What can he do? And then it's another controversy.
Yeah.
So I think we stick with JJ. I think the JJ has a ton of things that he needs to get work on: mechanics, footwork, processing speed, being able to read the defenses, not staring down receivers. But a lot of those are things that you fix in the offseason. You don't fix those in season. In season, you should adapt your play calling, adapt your scheme to what he can do, to what the team's doing well. And also, when you have a young quarterback, isn't it the job of the veterans on the team to prop him up, to help hide his deficiencies? And that has not happened this year with the O-line, and the wide receiving core. On paper, those should be our two strongest position groups. But the O-line has not played up to its potential all year. The wide receivers, as much as I love them, how many passes have hit their hands or hit their chest and they've dropped? I mean, if the passes that were on target are caught this year, that we're having a different conversation about JJ at this point.
Yeah, I will. I'll just on Eric's last point there, because I happen to have it in front of me with the Jordan Addison drop numbers. So, of all quarterbacks in the NFL who are qualified this year, of which there are 44 quarterbacks qualified, at least 20% of the snaps. No quarterback has a higher drop percentage among his wide receivers than McCarthy. His receivers have dropped 13% of his passes, whereas on the bottom end of that, Sam Darnold actually 2.8%. Jalen Hurts, Drake May, 4%, 3.5%. Now Carson Wentz is near the bottom in drop rate, 3.5%. So ball placement, velocity, layering. If there's a gray area there and it goes off a receiver's hands, or just like lack of chemistry working together in practice, probably inflate that number. There are some too that are just like, well, that had nothing to do with chemistry or velocity. You have to catch that pass.
I feel like we get really hung up in how hard he throws the ball, which is fine to talk about. But I feel like if you go back and watch his passes, you get charged with a drop if you drop a ball that's not exactly where it should be. And in this league, a lot of guys can put the ball exactly where it should be. So I'm not willing to absolve him. Like I think this is funny how we're like, oh, now if this had happened and if that had happened. Well, first of all, it's the National Football League. Nothing is perfect ever. Like your O-line's going to get hurt. There are definitely, and there were times again today where he hangs onto the ball far too long. That's not their fault. But all of that being said, look, I hope he's successful. He is a nice kid. He's a very nice kid. But I'm also not now like totally back. I feel like the just sports dad talking to the stands here. Stands, just be careful. Like this is one game again. I don't know how many times I can say that. You aren't back. Like just take it for what it's worth. Don't be telling us now in 2 years he's going to win a Super Bowl. We don't know that, okay? And if he's bad against the Cowboys, guess what? All of the haters, I guess that's what we call them, are going to come back out. Folks, I'm sorry, we have to walk through the gray here. There's no black, there's no white. It's all gray at this point.
And the problem is it's going to be gray when you have to make decisions in March.
100%.
It's not going to be black or I guess if he's a train wreck for 4 more games, you could argue that, okay, it is an easy decision just because the clock's ticking. It's been 2 years, whatever. But even that, it's like I was gonna say a name, but I'm gonna save it for an episode this week. There's a quarterback available in free agency that everyone thinks is a bust and garbage right now. That I could see Kevin O'Connell and whoever the front office is looking at differently if you get him into a different environment. And if the Vikings were to bail on McCarthy after this season, maybe he's their backup for a year or something, and then he goes on to a different organization in a couple of years. I think you would still have to leave the book open on him until he's 26, 27, 28 and gets 15, 20, 25 starts under his belt. The Vikings have to decide, are we the organization that's going to give him that runway? Or have we seen too much in 2 years, lack of durability, other things where we just, you know what, maybe he does thrive and there's a risk of that. Right. But we aren't going to be around to see it right now. Let's go hop on a different trip.
Kevin O'Connell, just to put this as simply as possible, Kevin O'Connell is not going to sacrifice his job to find out. So, like, he is not going to say, well, she might fire me. I don't care. He's getting to 35 starts. So, like, this is the thing, and I'm being called a hater, a bunch of nasty terms in the comments, and I get it. You're not happy with Sports Dad right now.
I'm being called a homer and a glazer on the other hand.
Well, yeah, I love that term. But the point is, Sports Dad's not here to be your friend. He's here to tell you the hard truths. It's my job.
Let's go. I agree. Some people don't want to hear the hard truth. Let's go back to Vikings Vent Line here, Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Yeah, let's go to Nolan. Nolan, what's up, man?
We're on.
What's up, Nolan?
Oh, hey. How's it going, guys?
Hey, man. Where are you at?
We're at 400 Tavern.
Oh, 400 Tavern, by the way. Awesome Bloody Mary bar.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we had the bottomless mimosas today. It was definitely a nice little system for us.
I love it. What are your
Anyway,
guys' thoughts on the game, state of the Vikings?
Well, I made a lot of comments about Justin Jefferson today, 11 yards. I thought that was interesting, but kind of worst case scenario for us if we wanted to work towards that draft pick anyway.
Yeah, Jefferson, man, like even in a game where everything goes right, and appreciate you guys checking in from 400 Tavern, holding down the fort over there in the quarry area of Minneapolis. Even in a game where everyone kind of McCarthy gets right a little bit, Kevin O'Connell as a play caller gets right, the running game, this and that. Addison, even with a couple drops, gets like 4 for 62. Hawkinson gets a touchdown. Still, Justin Jefferson doesn't get to eat. He was cheering for all of his friends and teammates as they were eating and feasting, and he looked happy on the sidelines because they won the game. But, yeah, for him to go for 2 catches, 11 yards, only 4 targets in this game, it just continues the most futile stretch of his career to this point.
It would feel a lot different if he makes that great catch, because then he's got a touchdown. He's got 36. Yeah. I believe that would have been a 36-yard touchdown pass. So it's funny because, again, I think that we all agree that's back on him. Like that's a hard catch, but he makes that catch. So it's funny how the context of the box score would have changed with just one play connecting, and it very easily could have connected.
Yeah. Who do you got next here, Dex?
Yeah, let's try Bruce again. Bruce, can you hear us now? Okay.
I can't hear you.
Bruce, try. I'm guessing you're on your computer or laptop. Try joining on your phone, and I'll pop you back on here when you do so. Jason, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good,
up,
man.
Jason?
Checking in from Idaho. I'm outside. My son's trying to make him gritty. He's not doing it yet.
Look at him.
Almost.
But I mean, good win. Honestly, I kind of wish we lost. Like how Phil was saying that, we lose, we get a higher draft pick. But it is what it is. As long as JJ's happy we won. I want to thank my dad real quick because giving me that heartbreak of being a Vikings fan since I was little and teaching me loyalty. But I'm hoping next year we'll get Mac Jones honestly in, and then maybe we'll have JJ sit and kind of relax a little bit and learn the ropes. But happy win. Happy we got something in. It's been a couple weeks and nothing, but hey, thank you guys for having me on, man.
Thanks,
Jason. Yeah, Jason, thank you for joining us.
The stadium today was absolutely dead. Like
it felt dead on TV.
It was dead.
Yeah. Really...
It was. I don't remember the last time I was at a Vikings game when there was literally like you could at one point hear one of the Washington defensive players calling out signals.
There was the play. Adam Amin mentioned it on the broadcast where they went for it on 4th and goal. And they were saying that they're actually KOC and like the offense was trying to quiet the crowd.
Yes.
Was that happening?
Yes. They in fact it was right before KOC called the timeout because he ran down the sideline and called a timeout. But yes, the crowd was going crazy and everyone's out there trying to quiet the fans down. But beyond that, I think the biggest cheer, and I'm not joking, I think the biggest cheer the whole day was at one point during, I think it was the second quarter. They had a military family. I think it was mom, wife, and kid out there. And the husband sends, hey, I wish I was there. I love you guys. And of course, he is here.
That's awesome.
So he snuck out, and they of course started crying. And it was really, really cool. But that probably got the biggest pop. Just because it was cool.
Yeah, those always get. Those are
awesome, man. Yeah, I could watch those on loop.
Those and then like if your dog hasn't seen you in a long time and then they like
God.
That tears me up. I can't do that.
I know.
People I can do. Dogs, no, I can't do it.
Dog.
I'm just a mess. I'm just an absolute mess.
Hey, before we get to, we're almost an hour in here. 4,500 people hanging out with us. Thank you guys. If you haven't already, click that like button here on Purple Daily Vikings Vent Line and the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Judd, tell us about your friends at MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning real quick.
I certainly will because as Sports Dad made his way from the parking ramp today to the stadium. Oh, I'm going to tell you right now, Sports Dad was freezing cold. And that means that there is a possibility, because your furnace is working overtime at this point, that something's going to break down, something's going to go wrong. And guess what? It is dangerously cold outside, so you don't want that cold coming inside. And that is why MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, they are the people to immediately call if something goes wrong. You do not want your pipes bursting. You want it to make sure that that your home is safe and sound. They're also your local Carrier dealer. MSP and Carrier, a winning combination. If something does go wrong, give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callmsp.com, callmsp.com. Sports Dad had this happen a couple of years ago, and they came right out and fixed it, did outstanding work. Callmsp.com.
Shout out to Two Men in a Truck also for if there's going to be some players leaving in free agency or otherwise. I think you should call Two Men in a Truck this offseason.
Yeah, I've moved a lot over the last few years, luckily, and knock on wood, hopefully I'm cemented here for a long time. But I can tell you, I've moved. I've tried to find the people who has the truck. Do I have to get the truck myself? It's a huge pain in the butt. So hiring Two Men in a Truck this year was the easiest decision I made. Go to Two Men in a Truck. What they quote is what you pay. No hidden fees, no weird service charges at the end. What they quote, that is your bill. I've used them. Phil has used them. If you're making that move happen, especially in the bitter cold right now, they have the capabilities to make that happen for you. So if you are moving, go to Two Men in a Truck, get your quote today, and tell them that Purple Daily sent you.
And also Menards. We are excited this whole season to be partnered with Menards. And Menards is your one-stop shop for everything for your car, which includes, especially here with all of this sort of sloppy weather, Splash windshield washer fluid. If you're planning a road trip this holiday season, or even if you're just out on the roads in general when it's been snowing and kind of mucky, Splash -20 windshield washer fluid is the go-to choice. Formulated with special additives to help you see safely wherever you choose to drive. Head to Menards, stock up on Splash windshield washer fluid, because performance matters on the road and beyond. All right, we got Judd at the stadium. We got Dex and Phil holding it down here in our studios. And who do we have next on Vent Line?
Dalton, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? You got me?
We
Yes,
got
we
you,
do.
Dalton. What's up, man?
Well, congrats again, Declan, on Sunny. I got little Miss Ivy with her Viking shaping helmet on right
Heck
here.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got the Ryan
yeah.
Kelly helmet on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Sports Dad, we can't fly the flag, but I got the victory necklace on right here.
Even better.
So my take on this game is this is the offense we were meant to see. An efficiency offense, not this high-flying stuff for a 22-year-old who, you know, he ran the ball a lot in Michigan. And honestly, it might not have just saved JJ's career, but it also might have saved KOC's, because, I mean, he was about to become part of the organizations that fail young quarterbacks. And my rebuttal to Judd's point in the beginning, and I respect your opinion, Judd, it's just I don't buy in that the Washington Commanders were ready to tank this game. I mean, they put Jaden Daniels back in. You think they're going to tell Deebo Samuels to tank? You think they're going to tell that other guy that's closing in on Jared Allen's sack record to tank the game? I don't know if I buy it, you know? So, I mean, like you said, take it for what it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like for a meaningless win, it was a really good, feel-good win that this fan base and this organization really needed.
I saw two things.
Thanks,
I saw two things. One, the Commanders quit as quick as possible. So like I didn't see, and they're not told to tank. It's just that they didn't care. But the weird thing about it was, and if this was Commanders Vent Line, we'd probably be hammering this. Jaden Daniels shouldn't have started this game. His elbow wasn't right. He was a mess. I mean, I don't know. At 3-8, right? Why did they start that? Or 3-9? Why did they start him? He looked absolutely lost out there. I mean, he's your starting QB for 2026. Keep that in mind. So it was a very odd decision because he looked like a guy that was in pain constantly.
Yeah, so RG3, who anytime the Commanders put a quarterback out there who can't defend himself, he is the George Washington on the Mount Rushmore of people that's going to rush out and say, "Look what happened to me! I told you." Now it's new ownership, new front office, new coaches. Hell, it's new everything over there. But he did do one of those little selfies during that game, saying why he needs to not play the rest of the year. What are they doing? What's the point? It's not worth it. I think the Vikings and the Commanders are in very different places with what they should be doing with their starting quarterbacks. If you're the Commanders, you saw what your dude looks like fully stocked a year ago. The season's going nowhere. It's lost. Just take a chill pill on it. Start again in 2026. The Vikings, it's like you're trying to rush, not rush, but like you want to see some sample size. You want to see Jaden Daniels has at least played 24 NFL games. You want to see that from your guy. And so you're willing to just keep riding him, I think, even if he gets dinged a little bit, concussion aside, the rest of the year. So who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to Bubba.
Hey,
Bubba,
guys.
what's up, man?
Hey,
What's
man.
up, Bubba?
Thanks for having me. Man, the comments are wild. I thought it was a good game. And, I think all three of you are right that we can have development from your head coach and your quarterback, but let's not put all of our eggs into one game and to declare JJ him, right? We can slow down a little bit. We need to see this in every game for the rest of the season and just keep growing. Want to shout out a mutual friend of ours, Judd, Zach from Pillars of Valor. They're a sponsor of our pregame show here on the Scene Project Sports Network. So love your guys' content. I listen every single day. I think you guys got the best takes in Vikings fandom. So a good game from this crew. Let's just enjoy it. I don't think it's right to root for a team to lose, but you can be a little less disappointed, I think, if they do. So let's just keep growing, man. Looking forward to some great content. I got an eye on this Bears-Packers game right now. So
yeah.
Hell yeah. Love it, man. Bubba, thanks for jumping in. I think if the Vikings were starting Carson Wentz still and winning this game, I know you can't tell a team of 53 guys playing for their family money to not play hard, but I'd be pissed if they're winning games with like a dead-end backup quarterback right now. But if you're going to have your 22-year-old potential future of the franchise take a step forward, and the collateral damage as a team and a franchise is, you're less likely to have the 4th overall pick now. You're probably closer to like the 10th or 12th pick. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And also, even if McCarthy doesn't play well the rest of the way, they're pretty unlikely to draft another quarterback in the top 10 or 12 anyways. That's where you really, if you're going into a draft where you have to get a quarterback, that's where the draft positioning can be really impacted. And that's what you were talking about 2023, where it's like, okay, halfway through the season, you've got dead-end backup quarterbacks going into a draft where you need a quarterback. Back in 2011 or whatever it was. All right. Or 12, whatever year that was, where it happened twice, actually. 10 going into 11 where you drafted Ponder. And then it happened in the Andrew Luck draft?
Yeah, Luck was drafted in April of 2012, so the 2011 season.
So back-to-back seasons where you could have had, those are the drafts where you definitely want to be losing games. Mm-hmm. This is a figure out what you have in McCarthy month, and if it costs you a couple games in draft positioning, whatever.
Yeah,
I'd like them to lose to the Giants because it helps your draft positioning.
Yeah, I think the Giants, I think the one thing that O'Connell either should get full credit for or it's frustrating but ultimately it's good. I don't think this team quit. Like Washington quit. Like they didn't give a damn. And I think the Giants have quit. I don't think the Vikings quit. I think the Vikings are just like, Max Brosmer's performance against the Seahawks made winning the game impossible. Like, I don't think they quit. I just don't think that they could score a damn touchdown. The defense of late, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it's played okay, if not well at times.
So awesome. Yeah.
This is not a players have decided screw Kevin O'Connell. It felt like Dan Quinn might not have the locker room as much. Which is hilarious because a year ago the Commanders were one of the feel-good stories of the entire season. But I do think you're probably going to beat the Giants at least because I expect them to be far more checked out than the Vikings are.
Let's keep rocking here on Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel.
All right, he's shirtless, I think, on the treadmill.
What up? We're on the bike.
What's up, man? On the bike. Okay.
Just rocking it right now.
On the bike. All right.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks, guys. I just wanted to say, what a refreshing game to watch after last week's stinker. Like, I know there's all this like, oh, we should tank, but like this is exactly what you want to see from McCarthy, right? Yes, again, we're not crowning him, right? But this is exactly the kind of game that you're hoping to see from him. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you have a signature Van Ginkel interception, a hitman interception, 3 turnovers. Like we're playing good football on both sides of the ball. So like, I'm a Vikings fan. I bleed purple and gold. I want to see this team win. I don't care if we're 0-16 going into the last game of the season. Like, I'm never going to root against the Vikings. And so, yeah, what a game. And it's just, it's frustrating to hear all the, great to see Kevin O'Connell get his head out of his ass too, for once, with the play calling. Because it's like we've all been, calling for weeks. And so it's like, beside that one series where they ended up getting it on the 4th down and threw it 4 times, there was some running on appropriate short yardage down. So
yes,
a lot of positives to take away. I know the season's kind of gotten away from us, but it was great to see.
Yeah. By the way, how many go back? How many miles in are we? How long have you been on that bike?
We're 3 hours, 2 minutes, and 58 seconds in. So training for a 100-mile race. Woodson 99er next June. So got to get it.
Let's go, dude. So you jumped on in the second quarter or something?
Yeah, exactly.
I love this, dude. And how long? Wait, how are you gonna ride into the night, or how long?
No, I was actually just kind of waiting. I was hit 3 hours, but I was trying to see if I could get on. So I decided, we'll go a couple more minutes. But probably gonna hop off, shower, and then check out the Bears-Packers game.
See, this is a metaphor for JJ McCarthy's career right here. Okay, it's 100 miles. We're in about mile 2.5 right now, and you got to pace yourself.
7 starts in.
There's going to be some uphill climbs, some downhill. Commanders were a little bit more flat downhill, a little easier today.
Right. 3-win team, but you got to take the positives where you can get them.
Yeah. I'd be dead by now, so congratulations on this.
I think all of us.
I'd be on the floor. Dude. See ya.
That's what we would look like 3.5 minutes in, not 3.5 hours in.
Yeah.
A bike ride there.
Absolutely.
All right, Dex, you got any other shirtless people working out or?
No, I think regular folks like us. Let's go to Matt next year. Matt, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, 3 quick things. I just wanted to tell you, one, I've missed you for the last 4 weeks. I've been so annoyed. Be it Quessy, be it KLC, just couldn't even watch. I can't even watch Vikings Vent Line. So miss you guys. Watch you all the time. 2 being to support Declan there. Just furious that KLP got his head out of his ass like the last guy, Mr. Shirtless there. We could have 2 more wins and be flirting with the playoffs right now, right? I mean, if he would have just got his head out of his ass and started calling better plays. And then the third thing is, again, having watched for 4 weeks, has anyone talked about it? What if Sam Darnold makes it to the NFC Championship game? Do we get rid of Quessy? I don't know. Just thought.
I don't know that Darnold going to the conference championship game determines that at all. I don't think that's it. I think the question is, and we need to expand it. I keep saying this. It's not about the quarterbacks with him, to me. I am willing to pin most of McCarthy on O'Connell signing off on that pick. But where Kwesi becomes the target of the conversation is his draft picks. The fact that he had to sign the most expensive, on paper, the most expensive free agent class last March because he didn't have draft picks. I don't think the Kwesi thing is this huge QB conversation. I think the Sam Howell being the backup, trading for him would be part of the discussion. But, I mean, my whole thing with Kwesi is the draft picks, the free agency class, all of that, far more than J.J. McCarthy.
I will say that the premise of Sam Darnold making a playoff run, I do think that factors in to some of the just if you're going to go and do an audit on the decision-making process, part of their logic was, well, when the game's really heightened in importance and high leverage, he reverted back to the pumpkin that he's always been in Sam Darnold. And part of the bet that the Vikings made was, there's a chance he's just going to be a pumpkin in big games. So why would we want to throw $33 million a year at him when we've got McCarthy over here? But if Sam Darnold proves that he doesn't always turn into a pumpkin in big games and they win a couple playoff games, or he has a couple games where he's rising up in the face of pressure, whatever it is, that would negate some of the Vikings' logic and thinking for why they didn't give him $100 million, right?
Sure. Yeah. I just think that the Kwesi discussion, if Kwesi is going to be fired, I think it's far more on factors that include the entire 53. But yes, if Sam is really, really good, in the playoffs, that plays a role. But the quarterback thing, a lot of it is going to come back on Kevin.
You know what's interesting about like the roster here, for example, coming into the game, we do these State of the Vikings Tuesdays episodes where we do the deep dives and the overviews and whatnot. And the defense there's been some pieces that they spent money on that maybe haven't been what they thought. But overall, especially after today, the rankings on defense are going to go up again because you blanked a team, your scoring average is going to come back. They've been bona fide a top 10 defense, yardage, yards per play, expected points added analytically. They've been kind of league average in terms of scoring defense, but that will come closer to top 10 after allowing 0 points today. So the defense has been, by most measurements, a top 10 defense. The running game, in terms of yards per attempt, has been a top 10 running game. They're averaging it's like 4.5 or 4 point some yards. Like, it's the best running game they've had yards per carry since I think Dalvin Cook left. They just don't run the ball a lot relative to the other. They have a top 5 passing rate and bottom 5 running rate in their play calling. So if I were to have told you before the season, they're going to have a top 10 defense, they're going to have some trouble forcing turnovers, and that's going to sway their turnover margin. But they have a top 10 yardage defense, and they have a top 10 yards per carry running game. And their passing game is going to be really, really, really suspect, in part because they have a young and experienced quarterback that doesn't really know what he's doing. I think you would then say, well, then wouldn't you just minimize the passing game as much as possible? You would lean way more into running the ball or reducing what you're asking your passing game to do in these games. And again, game flow helps. You're up 14-0. You don't need to lean on your passing game. So I think my long rambling point here is I think it's a little bit less about the talent was a lot worse than people thought. And I think the management of the talent, Kevin O'Connell looked at the whole thing and the coaching staff and said, yep, we are going to be a top 5 pass play calling offense. We are going to call more passes on a percentage basis than all but 4 other teams in the NFL, despite everything I just laid out to you. Mm-hmm. That's malpractice from a coaching and play calling standpoint. Not to exonerate Kwesi in this conversation, but does another coach come in with a different approach with the young quarterback? And to the last caller's point, they steal 2 extra wins because they're playing a different style of strategy, essentially. And so they'd be 7-6 going into this stretch where you've got games against the Giants, and you might have a chance to make the playoffs now with 9 or 10 wins. I'm just saying, I can't believe we're sitting here and they have a top 5 passing percentage after everything we've known about the quarterback situation.
This is why I want to see this game plan against a really good team to see how it looks. Because the answer to your question might be right. Let's look at the schedule, okay? Let's look at the losses. And let's go through the games where they literally flushed the game down the toilet. The Atlanta game, 22-6. Bad loss, but it's a loss. The Pittsburgh game, borderline to me, lost by 3, trailing the majority, if not the entire game, but you only lost by 3. Philadelphia game, tough loss to swallow. Chargers game, you got blown out. Detroit game, or I'm sorry, Baltimore game, you flushed that sucker. You walked into the stadium, you put the game plan in the toilet, and you hit flush. And it's a turbo flush here. Like, this is a good flush. So that sucker went, whoo, and that was it.
It's like a bidet, and then it shot more water up. And yeah.
So yes, and what I would like to know, though, is, and what was the thought process? Because you went out in March, you improved your offensive line. Now, I know guys got hurt. I know that's been a problem. But you got Jordan Mason to pair with Aaron Jones. So you seemingly, after the Rams playoff loss, and this was O'Connell's words, you looked at what hadn't gone right in those last 2 games, and you said, we're fixing this. And then you got to the season and you said, yeah, we fixed it, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass. So it's a legit question, and I don't think he's going to be fired, but I do think if I own this team, that's a question I want answered. Why?
Yeah, that Baltimore game in particular
kills me.
Some of these games, it's like you get to the next week even with us, and it's like you just kind of forget about the things that we were pissed about 3 weeks ago. They had in that game 48 called dropbacks in a close game at home against a Baltimore team that's been gettable throughout the majority of the season, and you decided, yeah, we're literally gonna throw the ball 40, or we're gonna call 49 pass plays in that game. And you lose the game 27-19 in part because didn't you have like a devastating like Miles Price like dropped a kickoff or something in that game?
2 games like that. Yes.
But if you bring a similar approach that you brought in this game, which is we are going to, I think it was 29 called runs and then 5 additional runs that JJ McCarthy turned pass plays into runs. But we're going to run the ball 30 times. And even if not every one is a home run, we're going to pound, open up play action, and we're going to keep the clock moving. We're going to reduce the amount of time that Lamar Jackson gets to touch the ball, those things. And that's where it's like, okay, we can poke at the personnel, and maybe like Jonathan Allen hasn't been as good, but why in the world are you asking your quarterback to throw the ball 48 or 49 times in a home game against the Ravens? Like, it just, that's where I go back to KOC, and maybe he turned the corner a little bit here in this game with, yeah, dude, just, I know what you want to do with JJ. Just you might get there, but you can't skip steps in that process.
There is nobody on that team in a role of prominence who doesn't get blame. Like, I don't see a good guy here. Like, I don't see this guy was beyond reproach. There is nobody on this team that, including McCarthy, O'Connell, go down the entire list, who doesn't take some blame. Because if you go through, again, the schedule and the games, Baltimore, you could have won it. You chose not to, in my opinion. The Bears game here, you led late. And that was a McCarthy performance that was not good. And you lost that one. Yeah. So could this team have 2 or 3 more wins? Easily. Do they deserve it? Probably not, but that's not the point.
We'll get to we'll get to our guy Jason Harmon here in a second from the Before I Die version of Purple Daily and some others. But shout out to Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, Dex. When the temperature is close to 0 like it was this morning, they can be your friends.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, go to standardheating.com. You can get your HVAC system service. You don't want to DIY this type of stuff. Let the experts handle it. They've been in my house a couple of times here. They gave me the peace of mind when I was doing the inspection to buy my house. They've been out here too to service my air conditioning too. So they've done a great job. And if you want to make sure that your HVAC system is working appropriately and effectively, contact Standard Heating. Tell them that Purple Daily sent you. They power to our hottest takes, which we'll deliver tomorrow. On Purple Daily, which we're always excited for. So go to standardheating.com to get your HVAC service booked and tell them that Purple Daily sent you.
Also, Black Stack Brewing is a partner of the Vent Line edition of Purple Daily, and we appreciate that. We had such a great time last year doing a Purple Daily Unplugged event there in their tap room, one of the largest tap rooms in the state of Minnesota. You can see pictures of it here on the YouTube channel. It's great for group gatherings, big gatherings if you want. They always have a food truck. They've got hundreds of board games and world-renowned craft beer. If you are not familiar, highly recommend stopping in. When you do stop into the tap room, if you mention that you heard about Black Stack on Purple Daily, you can enjoy a beer on tap and take a 4-pack home with you. And they're always brewing up new beers, just kind of trying things out. So next week, take a hike. A Mountainous Pale Ale is the special beer on tap. So check that out. And then one more plug here. So starting tomorrow, so for the last year, we've been doing this NFL Takes weekly show on Purple Daily where we get to sling takes about the rest of the league. Well, now that Thor's on board, we decided let's give him a playground. We can play on that playground as well. So we're taking that NFL Takes show and we are rolling it into a new YouTube channel. And I believe tomorrow we're going to have the Spotify and Apple accounts ready to rock and roll. But the YouTube channel, you can subscribe to it right now before the first episode tomorrow. Football Takes. Score North Football Takes. It's youtube.com/@ScoreNorthFootballTakes, SKOR, Score North Football Takes. And we will have multiple episodes a week if you're looking for, there's all of our Viking stuff, Purple Daily, Thor Talks Purple, which we launched last week. But going outside of the Viking sphere and for draft season, Thor is one of the biggest deep dive draft experts in the country. And a lot of his draft content is going to wind up on Football Takes for this upcoming season as well. So check that out. College, NFL, the college football playoff controversy today, leaving out my Golden Domers. Yeah, maybe don't lose your first 2 games, I guess. Tough lesson there for Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yeah,
good self-reflection.
But check us out. Score North Football Takes, youtube.com/@ScoreNorthFootballTakes. All right, Jason Harmon from the Before I Die podcast on Purple Daily. What's going on, dude? What are your thoughts on palate cleanser, or are you annoyed, or where are you at here after this game today?
Honestly, a mix of both. And I was just walking back. Somebody stole my jacket in the stadium. I got this great Vikings garage sale they do at the draft party every year. Sideline Nike jacket. Somebody left all my mics and everything, but took that. So I was dealing with that. So I'm sure up to this point, a lot of people have said similar things. Well, it sucks because it's my best winter jacket just moved from Arizona, so I'm freezing over here.
Oh, that's terrible.
Sorry,
But hey, it's
dude.
good.
Oh my
This gives me a good excuse to warm up the car and like kind of get settled because I'm not used to these temps. But even what Judd said, I couldn't agree with more, is everything the team did in the offseason pointed to trying to run an offense like you did today. Leaning on the running game, leaning on your offensive interior, having McCarthy play smart, effective, efficient football, dominating time of possession. And going back, a lot of people say, well, hey, this is boring. I'm already seeing that. Well, he threw 3 touchdowns. I don't care about the yardage. Things with Darnold, even things with Kirk at some point, they were wildly exciting. But when you get to competitive stages against top opponents or in the playoffs, teams know how to play against the deep ball pretty well at those stages. And the NFL as a whole, I know the Chiefs and the Eagles maybe aren't quite what they are or were last year, but teams like that even have gone away from trying just to air it out constantly. Even the Rams, Phil, you talked about it a week or two ago, using more 3 tight end sets. The NFL kind of ebbs and flows with what the trends are. And right now, the whole air it deep thing just isn't really having a ton of long sustained success. And going back to camp, Judd, you were there every day. Phil, I know you were there sometimes. It wasn't like this is, hey, Kwesi had this plan to rebuild this team, and KO was never on board because he's just not going to do it. At camp, they were working on a ton of short yardage plays. They were doing a ton of situationals on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 4, where there was a quick pass or running with Jordan Mason. And I don't know what it is. I have a lot of love for Kevin O'Connell, but I don't know what it was when the season started. He just insisted on going back to what ended up failing the team. And obviously, we think about the Detroit game and the Rams game and the playoffs. It even failed in Jacksonville. If it wasn't for, I think it was John Parker Romo was still there. Maybe it was Riker being back healthy, but hitting all those field goals, that's a game where the deep pass doesn't work and it's taken away. So I'm frustrated in the sense of like, man, I would have liked to see this. But to your guys' point, who knows what this would have looked like if this was the offensive plan in that Chargers game and McCarthy was healthy, or against Baltimore in a close game, right? So the good news about McCarthy is everything that to this point it kind of frustrated me knowing he had natural talent and we weren't seeing it. That's why I had started to get kind of frustrated. We saw today natural arm talent, a hell of an arm. And somebody pointed out from PFF, he's not even throwing with his body yet. Once he does, Lee might be in trouble. Great mobility. I think the only throw I'd really maybe critique was the deep shot to Jefferson, where you could tell Jefferson was maybe trying to go more towards the sideline or pylon. But even dodging pressure and getting a ball off that far was still impressive. Placement, that's going to be something he learns over time. I'm happy. Screw yardage. If people are mad about yardage, I do not care. He threw 3 touchdowns. How many times did we see Kirk throw for like 1 touchdown, 2 touchdown, and like 350 yards in a loss? I don't care. Give me, and I know this is a bad defense. We play a lot of them coming up, but let's see how this sustains and let's see if this offensive rhythm can work.
This was, to your point about the training camp practices. Actually, you know what? This was McCarthy's best day since the second Patriots joint practice. Because that practice, and he struggled on day 1, so what they did was they actually game planned a bit, which is fine. All right. But I remember that day in practice, it was like, okay, there's something here. A lot of great short passes. And this was, it's funny too, because the one thing we don't know, it's very clear it plays a role, but we don't know how much. I'm willing to bet it's fairly significant, is you can tell when his confidence is building and you can tell when his confidence is waning. Like he doesn't hide it. And the way that he played today, and, again, we're 14 weeks in to say, you know what? We're going to dial this stuff back. We're going to go out there, and I'm going to call a game. I can't wait to see O'Connell's presser, too, because I'm curious if it's like the Cleveland post game where they won, and he was like, yeah, we won. I guess we got it. It's like, dude, you won the game. Who cares? So there's a lot of things here, but I did think, like, overall, from my scouting standpoint, this was McCarthy's best day since that joint practice. I know that they're not comparable, but they're comparable in the fact that you can see his confidence.
Yep. Let's keep rocking here, Dex. Who else we got in the queue? Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Corey, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey guys,
What's up, buddy?
first time joiner, long time listener. Yeah, just a couple of points really. So obviously watching over in the UK, I get a lot of times where I've got to watch a game from like sort of half at 1:30 a.m. So I was on my friend's stag do in Spain, and I watched the Chargers game at about 3:30 in the morning. I watched the Falcons game at 1:30 in the morning, and I stayed up until 4, committed to watching that game. I also did it last season. Last season was my first season watching a whole year the Vikings, and the 2 games I stayed up for were the last game of the season against the Lions and the wild card against the Rams. So I think I just need to go to bed early. So because then every time I don't watch them, we seem to win. My takeaway from this game for me is that O'Connell finally called enough short yardage plays to get the most out of McCarthy while he's progressing. I feel as we've touched on for weeks, the long developing plays with a collapsing pocket doesn't help. When you've only got less than 2 seconds to throw a ball, but a route's taken 3 seconds to develop, it's not going to work. And then we go run, pass, and then we've got a 3rd and 1, and we throw a 30-yard ball and it gets picked off, and then Twitter goes nuts about how he can't throw a ball, he's got no accuracy, he's got no arm talent, he's not mobile enough, he's injury prone. And it's frustrating because it's the first time I've watched us develop a quarterback, and I really like McCarthy, both as an athlete and as a person. But that's my take from it, guys. I saw a lot of what we wanted to see today. I know the defense isn't great that we played against today, but small steps. Cheers, guys. Big fans.
Thanks, Corey. Thanks for checking in from across the ocean there. It's kind of cool how many people have just adopted the Vikings living over in Europe or Australia. We've had people from all over the place.
Yeah.
I could not do that because I need my sleep too bad. Like, I don't think I could get up at if I liked a team that played at 2:30 in the morning, I don't think I could do it.
I don't think I could either.
Well, you and I both had EPL teams for a while, like on the other side of the clock, where you have to get up at like 5:30 to watch Burnley play.
I did that like once, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's not going to work for me.
I'm monitoring for any interesting nuggets from the post-game press conference, and we will relay them to you guys here on Vikings Vent Line. So I'm pouring through the JJ McCarthy stuff right now just to see if there's anything. But Dex, let's go back to the vent lines here real quick.
Jackson, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, gentlemen, how we doing? I'm calling in from enemy territory in Wisconsin here as a college student, but watching Vikings win was definitely something that boosted my spirits as finals slowly creep up towards me. But a couple things. I like seeing a lot more single back with 3 tight ends. I like the fact that we're getting more of those guys involved. And you could see Oliver had 2 touchdowns. TJ had 1, getting that involved, but also just working with those shorter completions, not trying to force the ball deep. And I know we're paying Jefferson a lot of money to get him the ball, but at some point, I feel like we have to realize that he'll work his way up there to making those deep shots, but I don't want him taking blind shots where we've seen before he'll take a deep shot and then it'll just get picked off. I'd rather him see himself take those baby steps, and I feel like today was one of those days where we saw improvement, but I'm not going to go to the point where I'm going to crown him as like the next Tom Brady or like this amazing quarterback that's going to do all these amazing things. But last note, just regardless of how the season ends, I think I'm one of the people, I want us to draft Jeremiah Love. I think he is a extreme talent out of Notre Dame. And all due respect to Aaron Jones, I'd like to see Mason and Jeremiah just tag team in that backfield back and forth, and that can also play to McCarthy's like tendencies with getting that play action involved, and then that deep ball can develop as we go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Jackson. I think was it Thor? I think last week brought this up, or maybe it was one of you guys on the show. That Jeremiah Love sounds like a blast. I'm biased, Notre Dame, but like he's one of the best players in the country. He's crazy explosive. But if you philosophically are a bottom 5 run percentage team, do you burn the 12th overall pick, if he's there, by the way? Do you burn a borderline top 10 pick on a running back that you're going to use less frequently than almost every other team in the NFL?
Probably not. But I will. But on Jones, I do think because if I'm not mistaken, his contract is up at the end of the season. He also very well could be too expensive to bring back because your cap problems. I mean, you're going to have to let some guys go. I think it's pretty obvious Harrison Smith's going to retire, but you can't afford to bring back the team. And unless Jones takes a huge pay cut, I got to think that he's probably gone just based on the financials.
Yeah. So Kevin O'Connell, the only there's nothing real juicy out of this post-game press conference, but he basically said it was nice to play up to the standard that the fans at US Bank Stadium deserve, was kind of his main. And he's got rabbit ears. He definitely hears when fans are booing or when fans or media are critical of him and play calling, and a lot or all of it has been warranted this season. But it sounds like he felt like it was a palate cleanser as well today. Starting fast was a major point of emphasis for the Vikings this week. They've done that in some games, though, with McCarthy, where the scripteds are really good.
Yes.
And they come out firing. But I'll tell you that 19-play, 98-yard drive went beyond the scripteds. That was usually you script
great drive.
15-ish, maybe 20 plays, and that drive took them over the 30 or 35 play mark, I'm pretty sure.
Just quickly, can you guys explain to me how Washington combined the pass and run to get to the Vikings one and then threw 3 consecutive times?
Tankathon? Is that?
I'm like Cliff Kingsbury. Meet Kevin O'Connell. O'Connell's like, I love this. Just keep throwing more. That was absolutely bizarre.
Whereas Kevin O'Connell on the flip side, I was tracking all the third downs because the Vikings came into the game. If you look at the last 10 years in the NFL, only 6 other instances has a team been worse on third down for their season than the Vikings this year at 30%. And there is, I think it's the Titans are the only team this year that's worse than the Vikings. But the Vikings came into today literally one of the worst third down offenses in the last decade in the NFL. That's how bad it's been. And they come out and they convert their first 6 third downs. And they had a couple incompletes in there. The 4th and goal was the touchdown pass to Hawkinson. And then I kind of stopped tracking because the game was cooked at that point. But I'll give Kevin credit. He has the last 2 or 3 games when it gets into those third and short, so 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, he's been running the ball a lot more. And it is a crazy gap between the success of the Vikings when they run on short yardage versus pass.
He watched the show.
And either he watched the show or someone smart got to him and said, dude, it's a 70% conversion rate when you run in those spots. It's a 20% conversion rate when you pass, which is embarrassing. Worse in the NFL. And so the first 2 cracks he got today on 3rd and 1, handoff Jordan Mason, touchdown, 8-yard run, and then handoff Aaron Jones for a 3-yard gain on a 3rd and 1. So it's little things like that. Those swing games, man. If it's 3rd and 1 and you have a chance to go up 2 touchdowns and you call a dumb pass play or roll Max Brosmer out to the right, that's how you cook a game. Versus just calling the simple percentage obvious play, which is a run. And by the way, it might gain more than 1 yard. Like Jordan Mason scores a touchdown and you reduce the risk of a turnover. The Vikings have more turnovers in those situations because they pass the ball. So credit to Kevin for now. If you've got a veteran quarterback, okay, pass more, I guess, in those spots because the guy can handle it. But also that touchdown to Hawkinson on 4th and goal from the 2.5 is the first completion for J.J. McCarthy all season, all career, of a 3rd and short or 4th and short pass. Up until that point, I believe he was 0 for 17, either 0 for 17, meaning there's some sacks baked in there, there's some interceptions and stuff too.
Sure.
So just little play calling tweaks are helpful in those situations, as they were today. All right, let's keep rocking here. Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, let's go. Bruce, do you got us?
Yeah, hey guys.
What's going on? All right, what's up, Bruce?
Well, I just wanted to say, first off, I'm a real fan of the show. I really rely on your guys' expertise and your ability to break stuff down. And I'm just a guy from Northfield, nothing fancy, not from the UK. But I really enjoy watching the Vikings. I've been watching them since I was a kid. And I'm 64, so I've seen them lose a few times. And I guess a question I'd have for you all is, why does it take Minnesota so long to get this team going past the season into the postseason and then to the big game. You know, it seems like other teams recover faster from when they've lost good players or where things turn over. You know, the Patriots are back and winning. Of course, they have an easier schedule than we do, but the Packers are always a competitive product. What is it that is holding us back? You know, we got a beautiful stadium, beautiful practice facility. I just throw that out there for you guys. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, Bruce.
Bruce, thank you, man. That's a big philosophical question from.
Okay, so let's go through because the Packers in the 70s, when the Vikings had targeting the quarterback, were atrocious, and then in the 80s were atrocious, and in 1992 things changed because of a guy named Brett Favre. Like the Vikings have been unable to find, and it's fun to go, I get it, through the list, right? But the Vikings have been unable to find a franchise quarterback, in my opinion, with any longevity since Fran Tarkenton.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, you know, there's a lot of things that go into a Super Bowl championship, and I get that. But I don't think, especially in the last 20 years, 15 years, I don't think anything is more important than the starting point of who is your quarterback and what can he do. So I would say,
who is your daddy? What does he do?
Grab the toy.
So
grab a toy, put it on the carpet. Grab the toy, put it on the carpet.
But I mean, you look at it, and like that to me is the starting point. It is literally the starting point of the conversation, because the Vikings have cycled through, and you know, Kirk Cousins. Okay, he's okay, but I mean, he was not a Super Bowl winning QB. I mean, hell, Brett Favre won one, Rodgers won one. And we could make a case. I think Packer fans probably truthfully would say, thought we win more than one with each. So but I really believe that that's the starting point, is the inability to find a franchise QB who starts for you for, like, let's say 8 to 10 years.
Yeah. And I think there's different attempts at it have had different sort of reasons why they didn't work out. Bridgewater was less about lack of patience, or it was his knee got destroyed, and we'll never get to see what he would have looked like before a knee injury derailed his career. Ponder, they actually gave Ponder way more starts than people probably remember. It was like 35 starts or something, and he was terrible. I have before we get back to more Ventliners here, I have a question that popped into my head as you were talking about, like, the lack of being able to find a franchise quarterback, and how it feels like right now people are just like, they just want to move on to the next thing, or they just want, like, they want the result immediately, and it's there might be gray surrounding JJ McCarthy for 2 or 3 more years, and the Vikings, like I said earlier in the show, have to decide, are they okay being part of that gray for another year and a half before they really make a decision on, okay, now we're going to draft another quarterback or something. But I have a 2-part question for you guys. How much stock do you put into the first 6 games of a first-round quarterback? Like, okay, how much should a quarterback's first 6 games give you a strong, definitive opinion on who that quarterback is?
I think it depends on how, largely, especially because the teams, I mean, a lot of times a first round, especially high first round pick in that position will be with a terrible team. So, you know, inevitably they're going to be with a bad team, and that's going to certainly create problems. But I think they should look like McCarthy did today. I think they should look like they can handle it. And that's my concern, is there were games there, and this is on the coach too. Again, I'm not absolving anyone, but I think that they should look exactly pretty much like McCarthy did today, which is, here's your diet. You're on a certain quarterback diet.
Yeah. And I feel the same way. Like, today was a great little benchmark of, I want it to look like that too. Mm-hmm. So if I asked you, mentally flush the first 6 games, you did not see those first 6 games. And we've poked at a lot of the things. Some of it's on him, the way that it looked bad. I think there's things in and around him that we've poked at fairly too. But let's just, like, flush those first 6 games. And if I were to drop you onto planet Earth here, and you know ball, and you've watched enough football in your life, but you've not seen JJ McCarthy's first 6 games, you sit down, and the first glimpse of him is his 7th game today against a bad defense. Mm-hmm. What would you think of his chances to be the Vikings quarterback of the future?
I'd want to see more. But yeah, I wouldn't discount him.
You wouldn't be ruling it out, though. That's no. You know, you'd be like, oh yeah, I mean, probably want to see a lot of that next year, especially if he's cheap for like 3 more years, right?
Now, Do I know going into this after being dropped from a spaceship on Earth? But I'm a ball knower.
Yeah.
Do I know how good or bad the Commanders were, or do I not?
Yeah, you know that they have the
'Cause,
worst defense in the league.
Then my comment is the same as the top of the show, which is I also want to see him against better teams. Like today is a starting point, but what do we see now? Dallas is not a good defense, but they're definitely a far superior team to Washington right now. And then you're going to get after the Giants 2 really good opponents. But here's the problem too, or here's my question too, which is O'Connell when the temperature gets turned up and they're playing better teams, Matt LaFleur, Dan Campbell, is O'Connell going to be able to stick with the diet that he fed McCarthy today, or is he going to say, JJ, we're going back to the buffet? Because I question his patience.
Well, the answer to that question lies in another question, which is, does Kevin O'Connell want to win football games, or does he want to show off his deep passing, chunk yardage system as he envisions it when he lays down at night every night? Because the right move to win football games with a quarterback that's not ready to do all the things at the top of your system's capabilities is to do what they did today, which is run the ball a ton. Your defense helps when they're ball hawking like that, obviously. And then on the third down and must pass situations, that's where you're asking, hey, JJ, like 5 different times today, it's 3rd and 6, it's 3rd and 8, it's 3rd and 12. Need you here. Need you here. Just like at Michigan. Need you in this spot. And he delivered in those spots time after time after time today.
Yep. So the thing with O'Connell, though, is does he want to win football games? Does he want to impress his friends and family? And does he have to win football games a certain way? Like, that's my question. Because, that Cleveland game, the Carson Wentz game, I'll never get past that. Like, that dude at the podium was miserable. And he just won.
And all of us are like, dude, that was clever.
I know.
Great job.
I know. Great drive.
Adaptability.
Exactly.
Creative.
But I mean, that's going to leave a permanent mark. That's going to go in the Sports Dad Kevin O'Connell file.
Yeah, that was weird. It was weird vibe.
It was very weird, and it very much said to me, yeah, we won, but we didn't win how I like to win, and how I like to win is really important, which is odd, but not entirely surprising. I've seen it before from coaches.
Today he comes out with, on the first drive, they got a couple 13 personnel plays baked in, which they never do with 3 tight ends. They ran that little, was it the first drive where they ran that little like jet sweep motion pop pass to Jalen Naylor where he comes across?
Yes,
And it's like a
first
shotgun.
drive.
It's
pass.
I love those plays because if it's a fumble, it's not a fumble. It's incomplete. There's no risk. But if the ball hits the ground, it's just an incomplete pass. But if it doesn't, now Speedy Naylor has the edge for potentially a 10, 12, 15-yard gain. I'm not, and then you mix in some of the staples in the playbook too. But it's like, dude, that type of stuff, you don't have to be. It's like he's ashamed. You're right. After the Cleveland game, I can't believe we had to stoop to that level. It's like, no, dude, this is great. You're getting a ton of credit for the playbook looking like that.
Yep.
Anyways, let's go back to the vent lines here. Dex, who's next? Purple Daily.
Yeah, let's go to Tyler. Tyler, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, how you guys doing today?
What up, Tyler?
What's going on, man?
Okay, 2 things here. I gotta make this brief here because I gotta get ready for hibachi pretty soon here.
Oh yeah.
How was Sunny today, Dex? Is he enjoying his victory nap?
He is. He's, I think, enjoying a victory nap right now. He saw Vikings win. It's been, he's only seen 1 or 2 of them since in this short little time on Earth. So it was a good one for him.
He deserves it. Anyway, I'm just happy for the Vikings to win a game today. I know our season's pretty much over at this point, and I'm just happy for J.J. McCarthy, for him, that he performed a very solid game today. And it didn't have to be pretty. It didn't have to be all fancy or anything, but I'm just happy that our offensive line did whatever they had to do to protect him in this game. I'm just very happy for the offensive line that they did his job. Also, I got a shout out to my guy, Harrison Smith, interception, probably his last one as a Viking. And I'm just very happy that they got the win today. I just needed a win. That's all I want, just a win. So.
And you got it. Tyler
You
gets
guys
the
take
win.
care. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. I love how Harrison Smith, I think a lot of defensive backs are thinking, they're thinking, I got to get to the end zone. He was thinking, I don't want to die. Okay, I don't want to get blindsided. How can I kind of just like curl up in the fetal position here?
Yes. It was great.
Smart move by him.
They came in with 3 picks on the entire season.
Yeah.
One against the Bengals by Rodgers, 2 on the season by Metellus. They had 2 today. Like, think about that for a second. 3 picks. The Jets were the only team worse when it comes to picks. 0.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And it does show you that turnover luck, if your entire profile of wins and losses is based on turnover luck, I mean, every team needs a little bit of it, but if you look and it's like, oh, well, if the turnovers were equal, that team probably only wins 7 or 8 games, which is kind of how it has felt at times. The Vikings in all these one-score games over the years where if, like, the turnover luck isn't as good, how sustainable is their success? Let's go back to the vent lines here, Dex.
Yeah, let's go to Will from New Jersey. Will, what's up, man?
Hi, guys. How you doing? Thanks for having me on. I love you guys. Listen to you every day. My comments today are a little bit, it's less about what happened today, less about the details that happened today. And I feel the need sometimes just to check in with you guys and just remind the whole world of your mission statement, which is Super Bowl before we die. Personally, the wins, how they do throughout the rest of this season, I could really care less. And I'm not as wrapped up in how they do next season either. I mean, I think the assumption is, are we going to be winning a Super Bowl within the next couple of years? Probably not. I want to see J.J. McCarthy. I want to see as much of him as possible. I want them to be able to develop him and have as much runway as possible to develop him. Now, I know my comments might run against what ownership might want. I'm always a little leery about that. What I don't want is to have a reversion back to the many years that we've seen as Viking fans, where the concern was more about maintaining a certain level of mediocrity than it was really pushing through and ultimately giving us what we want as fans. You see the comments online a lot where people, even though they'll say the right thing, really even a lot of the fans are just dedicated to that 9-8, 8-9 season and game in, game out. I'm just happy, we heard some people say right now, I'm just happy to have seen them win today. I don't care if we've seen them win today. It means nothing to me. We need a Super Bowl, and whatever gets us there as quickly as possible. Now, maybe my concern is as we've said, and you guys have recognized, I think very astutely and correctly, is that maybe the people in certain positions are not the right people to get us there. Maybe the personnel people are not the right people to be making those decisions. Maybe certain changes have to be made there. I hope the KOC ultimately turns out to be the right guy to develop the quarterback, because we've had doubts about that and how he's been dealing with McCarthy these days. Hopefully he starts running the ball more. But just let's all stay dedicated to the main goal, which is get us a Super Bowl. I could care less what they do short of that. I don't want to. I'm 55. I don't want to die without one. So I love you all.
You're a young man.
Let's just keep exactly right.
I'm 56. You're a young man.
I'm going to be 56 in a couple of months. You and I have lived very similar existence, I think, as far as watching the hell that this team's put us through.
I love it, Will. Thank you, Will. Appreciate the kind words and the insights. Jed, any thoughts on your spirit animal Will there and the path to winning a Super Bowl?
I agree with almost everything he said, because I'm not like, oh, they won today. That changes things. But I do want to see, and we've talked about this, the most important thing is McCarthy. How does McCarthy look? And win or lose, if it can be in some defeats and he looks good, I'm fine with that. But I do think that today ultimately is at least a starting point for sort of, if I may say this, the rebirth of J.J. McCarthy. Because it feels like today, to Declan's point from the beginning of the show, it feels like today O'Connell finally said, okay, I'll play your game. I'm not going to make you play my game. And if this is how it can go now, and this is where I'm skeptical, but if this is how it can go now, I think you do have chance for progress. If we get back to when push comes to shove, O'Connell saying, okay, here's JJ, you are ready for this. I think you're going to have problems again. But today felt like a game that gave JJ McCarthy at least a fair chance to show who he can be and how progress can be made.
Yeah, and you're going to have to, as a franchise and fans who are trying to think about this, you're going to have to sort of do the math on if Super Bowl is the goal and you have J.J. McCarthy in one hand, or a quicker path to a quarterback upgrade immediately. In the other hand, like Mac Jones probably being the number one name on that list, because you could, unless somebody wants to fight on this, like Mac Jones would be a better operator at a higher level of Kevin O'Connell's system right now and probably in 2026 than J.J. McCarthy.
Probably.
Like he would come in, he'd be able to process the reads, throw for more yards. I mean, in San Francisco, he had a great little 8-game stretch there, similar systems. But is that like a, it's like when you're on the freeway and you're trying to figure out what lane to be in during a traffic jam, and right now the right lane is like moving faster than the left lane. Let's jump into the right lane, and boom, for a half mile you've gotten ahead of the traffic, but at the end of the day you're in the right lane. And if you were to stay in the left lane over the 10-mile ride, maybe it's slower right now, but you would get there. Which lane is J.J. McCarthy? Is he also the right lane, and the quicker you could just get off on a different freeway? Or do you need to be patient for another 15, 20 games, and all of a sudden, boom, now you're going 75. Thank God we stayed in the left lane, because if we were in the right lane, we'd be stuck back there 2 miles further back. You know?
You just stay there. You don't move for nobody. They can ride your tail. You just flip them off, and you stay it.
That's what's happening right now with McCarthy in the left lane. You're going like 52, and everyone's honking. Josh
like,
Allen's behind you. Like,
hey, what's up? What's up? But I do think that, and this will probably come up on shows as we begin to talk about 2026 more and more. There's another conversation here too, outside of the quarterback, about where this roster going into 2026 is going to be at, period, because the missed draft picks are going to continue to bite you. Like those are an issue. And I know that people say, 2022, let's not talk about it. Unfortunately, those guys would be veterans right now contributing. They're not there. And you're I think you are in the bottom third, if nothing else, of the oldest rosters in the league. You're over the salary cap, so you're going to have to cut some guys. So, there's a broader discussion about what do you do at quarterback, because Mac Jones, with a reconstructed 2026 roster, he might make you more palatable to watch at times. But is he going to really help you win? Because they're going to pay the price for the draft. Mm-hmm. There's no way around that. They are going to pay the price. They have missed on too many picks, and you cannot just go out and sign guys because that's too expensive.
Yeah. We'll get to Matt and Odin here in a second, but the Canopy Group, let's get to them. Shout out the Canopy Group.
Absolutely can. An in-state-based independent insurance company that, ladies and gentlemen, has your best interest at mind. We've been talking a lot about sports executives, GMs. Well, the Canopy Group, much like a sports executive, constantly going to be on the lookout for the best talent available. The Canopy Group does that to get the best insurance coverage at the best price for, guess who? You. They work with 16 groups, top-tier companies, to make sure that you have the best insurance roster available. We're talking we're talking 4 phases here: auto, home, health, and business. That's exactly right. And when it is time to renew, you're going to hear from the Canopy Group, because they know that you deserve better than the status quo. Give them a call, 1-800-967-3389, or check out their website, very convenient, at thecanopygroup.com. That's thecanopygroup.com.
Someone chimed in here. I got to find this here before I talk about the next. Here it is. From Gus Presto. Phil's always half in the bag on Sundays. Everybody knows the rules. I am not half in the bag because I drink responsibly. And when I do drink responsibly, sometimes it's Pendleton whiskey right here. I'm going to keep this unopened because it's the 10-year stadium anniversary 2025 Vikings limited edition. This one's going to stay sealed here on the old shelf for visual purposes. But it tastes very good. And if you're interested in Pendleton whiskey, the partnered whiskey with the Minnesota Vikings, then you can go into your liquor store and ask for these 10-year stadium anniversary bottles. It's not just poured, it's earned at Pendleton whiskey. In Minnesota, nothing is given. Certainly not the wins this season, not the weather. Crafted with grit and bottled for those who fight hard for their rewards. Smooth enough to sip after a win, and bold enough to remind you of the work it took to get there. Pendleton whiskey is the whiskey you want for your Vikings game days. So stop into your local liquor store and check it out. 2025 Pendleton Distillers, ProximoSpirits.com. Please drink responsibly. All right. Who's next on Vikings Vent Line here? Almost 2 hours into this. 31-0. Vikings win.
Let's go to Matt next year. Matt, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, how are we doing?
Hey Matt, what's up, man?
All right, so I'll make this quick because I have a Christmas party to go to. So first, I want to say, Dex, congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Been watching you guys for like a long time now, probably like 4 or 5 years ago when I was still in college. So
love it, man.
The thing I want to talk about is like, I know it was just the Commanders, but like Jaden McCarthy had a decent day. He was like, here, I'll pull it up on my phone. He was like 16 of 23, I think it was what it was, for like 151 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think it was just different for him today. Like, he was his own self. Honestly, he had no pressure at all. Kevin O'Connell called a great game. He just let him play to what he wanted to. And I thought that was a pretty good game for him, something to boost his confidence a bit. And I know the season's lost because I don't see the Vikings going to the playoffs this year. They are like way below that standard. Also, another thing was, I would really love to move on from Aaron Jones, and believe me, I know that would hurt as a Vikings fan. But honestly, Jeremiah Love would boost our confidence just like by so much. He's explosive. I've been watching him. He's a really outstanding player. And we obviously know Harrison Smith is going to probably retire after this year. I mean, if Caleb Downs or Jeremiah Love is there, I'd say we lean towards maybe like Caleb Downs. He's a versatile player. I love him as a Viking. I think he would be pretty good. Anyways, I gotta go. But congrats.
Matt, enjoy your holiday party, Matt. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier, but an explosive young running back. Who's the Jahmyr Gibbs? Who's the Jonathan Taylor? Like, if you can get one of those dudes who's first-round talent. I mean, the Dalvin Cook was a huge factor. Now, when Mike Zimmer was here, they were top 5, top 6 in the league in run percentage, so they were running Dalvin Cook into the ground. But you got to decide as a franchise, if you think a Jeremiah Love puts this offense over the top, especially with a young quarterback, are you going to use him enough to make it worth your while to spend a first-round pick on that asset?
Exactly. And I mean, if they're like, well, I think we can. I mean, they redid the interior of the offensive line and brought in a running back, and we were all like, oh, hooray, you're going to really use the run, and they didn't. So it's also weird because you did all those things. We thought we knew exactly why. You talked about it, and then you didn't do it. So if he says, yeah, you draft me, Love, I'm still going to be skeptical until I actually see it.
Yeah. And then Caleb Downs, I'm just trying to pull up some mock drafts to see, like, I think isn't he kind of like top 10 projected right now? Let's go to Tankathon. He's the defensive back from Ohio State, who just got beat by Indiana. Shocking.
Yeah,
Indiana. Imagine telling any generation of college football watchers at any time in the last 70 years that Indiana would be the number 1 seed going into the college football playoff.
It helps to have Mark Cuban send you money.
That's the thing. Indiana, I think, is like 5th or 6th in most NIL money raised.
Crazy.
Or fund. So Signetti, really good coach, but Signetti plus more money to spend on players than almost any other program.
Yes.
Big time. Right now on Tankathon, Caleb Downs projected as the 6th pick, coincidentally, to the Washington Commanders. But they do have the Vikings taking Jeremiah Love with the 11th pick right now.
Okay.
So, interesting. All right, Dex.
Yeah.
Who do we got next year on Vent Line?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Odin from Iceland. Oh. What's up, man?
Awesome.
Hello. You hear me, guys?
Yeah, we got you, Odin.
Nice.
Yeah, good. I'm calling from Iceland, so English is not my first language, so I just wanted to, it's really surreal to be on the show because I've been watching you guys for years. But I'm considered strange here in Iceland because I only know one other NFL fan in Iceland, so I'm considered quite strange. And I got for this season now number 9 jersey and also I have a number 22 jersey, so I believe in McCarthy. But I wrote down a few things, but I don't know how much time you have. The I'm from Iceland. I have the name Odin, like the Nordic god, like Thor.
Oh,
So I have, and that's why I started to cheer for the Vikings because of the connection to my name many years ago.
that's awesome.
But the thing is, the first thing I want to know I want to say is that I love Thor because of the name also, and I think it's great he's on the team again, and I think it's a good add to the team, and I've loved his episode that you guys have had for years, and I'm a big fan of the show, and also I wrote down here that the Skál chant is originated from Iceland.
Yeah,
as
we
you,
stole
as,
it.
as you guys, and the land of the Vikings. So that's that's. But I don't have this deep knowledge of the American football like you guys have. But you are my only source, of one of my few sources, that because I have only a few people to discuss the American football with. So I think your show is great to listen to and deepen my knowledge of the game. But finally, a watchable game for the team, and it has been a dream of mine for a long time to come to Minnesota and watch a game in the NFL. But I believe in McCarthy, and I think we should give him time and give him time to develop, and that's why I got the jersey for McCarthy. And the other thing that I wrote down is that, of course, congrats with Sonny.
Thank you.
And I've been watching you guys from afar for a long time, and just go Vikings from Iceland for the source of the Vikings, were the source of the Skál chant, and I think it's just surreal to be on the show that I've been watching you guys for years, and I'll continue watching it from afar.
Yeah. Love it, man. Odin, I think there's a chance. I mean, the NFL continues to try and do games in different countries and parts of the world. I feel like Iceland would be a fun little. What's the biggest soccer stadium you have in Iceland? How many seats?
In Iceland, the total nation is 380,000 people.
So what's the biggest stadium?
The biggest stadium is our national stadium for soccer, and it seats about 3,000 people.
Okay, Roger Goodell might need a few more seats. What would be the lowest amount of seats, Judd, that Roger Goodell would approve to put a game in Iceland?
You probably need at least around 50,000, wouldn't you?
50,000.
Yeah,
Odin, if you can find us a stadium with 50,000 capacity, we will call the league office and get Roger Goodell to send the Vikings to their homeland.
But a few years ago, there came some Viking players to Iceland to visit and tried to up the sport here in Iceland. But I'm I'm considered strange, and when I meet my guys, they only want to talk about soccer.
Yeah.
But when I want to talk about the American football, people just don't know what it's about. But now I'm also starting to watch the college football part of it. So I'm broadening, but I tried to watch baseball, but I don't understand anything what's going on there. So
not, quite frankly,
that's okay. Don't worry about it, Odin.
That's all right.
No. So I just wanted to because I've sent in a few emails, but I think maybe the coach of the year title last year for KOC maybe got to his head a little bit, and I think he's maybe seen the light now how to run the team. It's my opinion, but of course my knowledge of the game and how it's run, it's not as deep as your guys. So I watch you guys every day to deepen my knowledge of the game.
Well, thank you.
Awesome, man.
Well, thank
Odin,
you guys
thank
for
you
your good
so
work.
much.
Thanks,
you
Odin.
holding it down in Iceland. So we are either making Odin a lot smarter or corrupting his knowledge of the NFL. I guess we'll find out in time. That's awesome, man. So we had Europe, we had Iceland.
Yeah.
People repping
All
from
very
over the
happy.
place.
For the most part.
For the most part. Yeah. I mean, I think you nailed it off the top, which is, all right, it's a nice little step. Let's see what it looks like.
Yes.
It was the right opponent at the right time. You beat the crap out of them. Okay. You got a few actual formidable opponents coming up. Let's see what it looks like. Any other final thoughts from you guys here as we put a bow on this Week 14 edition of Vikings Vent Line?
I have a question to Kevin O'Connell. Kevin, can you keep this up? Can you restrain yourself enough so that when, Sunday Night Football, you guys, prime time, whole nation is watching, all of your colleagues, can you run this offense that you ran today? That's my question.
What does he want to show off to the entire nation? His system and the capabilities of his system?
Yep.
Or winning football?
It's also going to be a fun challenge for McCarthy just based on the increase in pressure. Prime time, Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be like today. Today felt like, like a Twins 3-game series in April against the Marlins. This is going to be the big boys.
Yeah.
Or at least it's going to feel like it.
Yeah, this game was tucked away. They probably only showed it for the absolute must-show touchdowns on Red Zone.
Yeah, I told you.
This is probably the least total exposure the Vikings have had in any of their games so far this season, right? So it makes sense. All right, boys. Well, like we said a little bit earlier, we'll have our hottest takes live at 9 a.m. Central Time on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We've got Before I Die on the Purple Daily channel with Jesse and Leighton and Jason. Thor Talks Purple. And then we've got the debut of Football Takes, the new YouTube channel as well, where we go outside the scope of Vikings. And Thor is going to be part of that 4 days a week, I believe, out of the gate. And then you and I are going to be mixing in Judd as well. So we're looking forward to the debut of Football Takes on that YouTube channel and soon on Apple and Spotify. And for Dex, spinning plates, for Judd at the stadium, I'm Phil Mackey, and for the Vikings for at least 1 week, feeling good, 31-0, but we do want them to win a Super Bowl, not just beat the Commanders before we die.